New, locally produced trams that dominate the fleet. Modernized infrastructure. Sections that are classified as proper light rail. And various extensions that are in the works. Poznań makes a proper showcase for why Poland is one of the world's best countries for trams. And the local company Modertrans helps Poland to take this title. Let's take a closer look at Poznań's awesome tram system. The start of operation of trams in Poznań came already in 1880, making this tram system over 145 years old. As electric trams mostly made their first appearance during the turn of the century, Poznań started with horse-drawn trams. The network was popular and grew quickly. In 1898, the electric tram made its appearance in Poznań, converting all horse-drawn tram routes into electric tram routes. The electric tram network was also expanded rapidly. After the First World War, Poznań saw an interesting development. While sections in the narrowest street were closed, the network extended into what were the suburbs back in the time. Until World War II, some lines were closed and replaced by buses. Even trolley buses were introduced during this time. The Second World War caused a lot of damage to Poznań, especially during the so-called battles for Poznań. But the city started with reconstruction right after the war ended. During 1946 and 1947, most of the tram network on the left bank of the river Varta was rebuilt, but another route was chosen for trams in the city center, avoiding the historic old town. Unlike many other cities, I could not track a large-scale closure of routes in the 1960s and 1970s in favor of buses. Instead, quite a few extensions were built during the 1950s, 60s, 70s and 80s. These routes had a particular focus on connecting districts without the need to travel through the city center. This enabled shorter travel times in the city. The biggest development came in 1997, with the opening of the fast tram section. This 8-kilometer section provided a fast connection to the north of the city. It is fully grade separated, and the stops are a bit more built out. The speed goes up to 70 km per hour. Another big development came after 2007, which saw the gradual opening of a new section towards Franovo. Interestingly, the section between Osiedle Lecha and Świecka runs in a tunnel. This was finished in 2012. In 2013, the last extension of the fast tram opened, extending it southwards to Poznań's main station and providing an additional connection to the rest of the network. Later on, even more extensions were opened, but a lot of effort was also made towards modernizing and upgrading the existing network and tram fleet. Which brings us to the network of today. This is the tram network of Poznań. The best estimate is that it is around 73 kilometers long. It uses a gauge of 1435 millimeters, which of course is known as the standard gauge. The system uses the fairly standard 600-volt DC overhead wires, and there are 3 tram depots. Let's now take a look at the lines. We start with line 1, which runs between Junikovo and Franovo. What is interesting is that line 1 avoids the city center and runs as a connector for the southern part of the city. Line 1 is 14.8 kilometers long. Line 2 runs between Ogrody and Dębiec BKM. This line runs through the city center before heading south. It is 9 kilometers long. Line 3 runs between Łożeja and Uni Lubelskiej. On this line, bidirectional trams need to be operated, as the terminus Łożeja does not have a turning loop. Line 3 is 14.9 kilometers long. Line 5 runs between Górczyn BKM and Zawady. With 8.8 kilometers, it is one of the shorter lines in the city. Line 6 runs between Budziczyńska and Miłostowo. It is 13 kilometers long. Line 7 runs between Ogrody and Połapska. It is the longest line on the network, with 17.7 kilometers. It nearly forms a circular route around the city, connecting to every other branch. Line 8 is the shortest route on the network, with its route between Ogrody and Miłostowo measuring only 8.5 kilometers. Line 9 runs between Pionkowska and Dębiec-PKM. It is 10.7 kilometers long. Line 10 runs between Łażeja and Dębiec-PKM. Similar to Line 3, Line 10 needs to be operated with bidirectional trams, due to the terminus at Łażeja. Line 10 is 11.7 kilometers long. Line 11 runs between Pionkowska and Unie Lubelskie. It is 14.1 kilometers long. Line 12 runs between Osiedle Sobieskiego and Starowienka-PKM. It is the first of 4 so-called fast tram lines, running along the fast tram section between the loop at Osiedle Sobieskiego and Poznan's main station. Line 12 is 14.1 kilometers long. Line 13 runs between Junikowo and Starowienka-PKM, routed via the city center. Line 13 is very suitably 13 kilometers long. Line 14 is another fast tram line, which runs between Osiedle Sobieskiego and Górczyn-PKM. It is 10.4 kilometers long. Line 15 is also a fast tram line and runs between Osiedle Sobieskiego and Junikowo. It is 12.5 kilometers long. Line 16 is the last of 4 fast tram lines and runs between Osiedle Sobieskiego and Franowo. Line 16 is 13.6 kilometers long. Line 17 forms a 15.2 kilometers long arch through the city, running between Górczyn-PKM and Starowienka-PKM. Line 18 runs between Ogrody and Franowo. This roughly west-east route is 10.5 kilometers long. And finally, we come to the only peak hour route in the city, Line 19. It runs between Pułapska and Dębiec-PKM. Line 19 is 10.2 kilometers long. All the lines, except for Line 19, run every 10 or 15 minutes during weekdays, and every 20 minutes during the weekend or later in the evenings on weekdays. Due to the highly interline network, a high level of service will be maintained even at off-peak hours and weekends. This video about the tram system of Poznań is part of an already 54 episode long series of videos of transport systems. I would love to show you many more in the future. Therefore, it will be really helpful if you like my video and subscribe to my channel. Let's now take a look at the tram fleet. Poznań has a diverse tram fleet, based mostly on Polish-made trams, but also some other interesting types. Like many other Polish cities, Poznań has also several Konstal 105 NAs. This type is used increasingly less, as newer tram types arrive. When I was in Poznań, they were also staying in the depot. A large number of the Konstal 105Ns are modernized into Modertrans Alphas. This process is what put the local company Modertrans on the map, which is a subsidiary of Poznań's public transport company, MPK Poznań. Modertrans has performed many of these modernizations for a variety of cities. In Poznań, there are various iterations of the modernized Konstal 105Ns, with the later ones getting a new look that would define the look of the upcoming models of Modertrans. Poznań also has a unique type developed by Czech Cadet Tatra in its final years, the Tatra RT6N1. It was built in a consortium with the local manufacturer H. Jagielski. It was the first type with a low-floor section in Poznań. It was clear that the high standards of Tatra were not there anymore, and these trams were notoriously unreliable. But also here, Modertrans came in to modernize these trams, and ever since, these trams have become more reliable. The next type in the fleet is the Siemens Combino. Poznań is the only Polish city to have this tram type. Recently, these fully low-floor trams have received a modernization by the company SAC. This has also come with a change in the look of the trams, applying the modern branding of MPK Poznań to the trams, except for one tram, which retains the original colors. Poznań also purchases some second-hand trams from Germany from time to time. The oldest that are still active are two DUWAG GT8 ZRs, which Poznań purchased from Frankfurt am Main. Poznań got them in 2005, while these trams were built in 1969. These trams are bidirectional. The next type is the Modulus Beta, of which Poznań has three subtypes. The Modulus Beta is known for its low floor middle section, while the first and last sections are still high floor. The oldest subtypes, with the designation MF02AC, were delivered between 2011 and 2014. In 2016 and 2017, a very similar subtype was delivered, which is designated as MF20AC. Additionally, in 2016 and 2017, Poznań also received bidirectional Modulus Betas, which are designated as MF22AC BD. Another interesting tram type is the Solaris Tramino. The version for Poznań is designated as S105P and consists of 5 sections. It is fully low floor and has, in my opinion, a very interesting design. The Tramino is Solaris' only dip into the tram market, but this part of the company was later sold to Stadler. It therefore only ended up in a few cities, with Poznań being one of them. Poznań received its Traminos in 2011 and 2012. Modertrans also delivered various iterations of their Modulus Gamma family to Poznań. These modern-looking, fully low-floor trams are becoming a hit, with models appearing in various Polish cities, as well as in Woltersdorf in Germany. Poznań has 3 subtypes of this model in service, as well as 2 prototypes. The oldest regular type was delivered in 2018 and 2019. These are unidirectional 3-section trams and still feature the brighter green and yellow livery. This subtype is designated as LF02AC. Later in 2019, another 3-section subtype was added to the fleet. This was the bidirectional LF03ACBD, which now sports the new darker green livery. The last regular subtype that enters service in Poznań is the bidirectional LF04ACBD. They were all delivered in 2025, ahead of schedule. As the home of Modertrans, Poznań has also 2 prototypes that make their appearance. These are the 5-section Gamma LF01AC and the single-car LF05AC. The 5-section LF01AC has a very distinct light blue livery, while the short LF05AC has a dark red, gold and black livery. The final type that most recently started gracing the tracks of Poznań is the DUWAG NGT6D, which are second-hand trams from Bonn in Germany. These 3-section trams were originally built in 1994. They will mostly replace the very old tram types and provide more flexibility due to their bidirectional nature. The last ones will be delivered throughout this year. Let's now take a look into the future. Poznań has quite a lot of plans to improve the tram system even further. One of the plans is to purchase even more new trams, to further renew the tram fleet, while phasing out older types. In November 2025, Poznań placed a firm order for 10 new unidirectional trams of the type Modulus Gamma, after the local company Modertrans won the tender. In this contract, Poznań has the option to order 20 more trams of this type. The first 10 trams should be delivered by the end of 2027. If Poznań decides to exercise the option for 20 trams, these trams should be delivered by the end of 2028. This fresh new batch of Modulus Gammas will be visually similar to the recently delivered bidirectional Modulus Gamma LF04ACBD. The purchase of new trams is not the only development in Poznań. There are also a few extensions planned, at various stages of development. Currently under construction is a short section in the city center that will connect to the stop Wierzbięcice to Plac Wolności via Ratajczaka Street. Construction should be finished in the second half of 2027. The first of the planned expansions is a tram connection to the railway station Poznań Wschód. This section will be an extension of the section to the terminus Zawady. Interestingly, in maps, the extension does not seem to end in a loop, and will therefore require bidirectional trams to operate the lines that will terminate here. Obviously, providing another connection to a railway station is always a smart move. The second planned extension is a short branch that branches off at the current sharp curve at the stop Arciszewskiego. This branch will connect the Copernicus housing estate to the tram network. The third network expansion is planned to be a connection between existing sections. It will provide another connection of the section to Boisea to the rest of the network. It will branch off at the former turning loop Wielczak and will link up north of the Old Town at the stop Małe Gabary. And lastly, the final planned expansion is an extension of the section to Dębiec to the Dębina estate, Klin Dębienski. This extension will end in a turning loop, which will have a turning loop for buses located in the middle.
Przystanek końcowy.
And that's it for this video about the tram system of Poznań. Click here to watch my recent video about the tram system of Gorzów Wielkopolski. And as always, thank you for watching.